Thank you, Reverend Mary. Well, people ask me about, this church. I'm not known for my religious background. I have many friends over the years that they hear that I've become a reverend, and their first response is, "What?" And they first look at me and think, are you going to start quoting the Bible to me? It's what's changed in you? And the answer is nothing changed. What happened was I found a church that matched my belief system. And once I had got involved with the Star of Hope Church in Aurelia, I realized that this is not about being religious. It's not about preaching the Bible and making people convert to Jesus and all the things that other churches tend to do that I tend to resist. And I remember once a friend of mine says, well, how can you have a church service and not talk about Jesus? And my answer was, that's not what we do. We're a different church. Our church has two prime things that I tell people. They say, what's your church about? And I say, well, we do not tell people how they are supposed to think about God. What we do teach is how people can believe in themselves. And that's a big component. And I looked at the 7 principles that we read every week. And I think at times, because we do them over and over again, they tend to just they blur together. It's kind of, oh yeah, let's do the 7 principles. But I thought, I'm going to look at them at a deeper level. So I did some analysis, and I'm going to put them up and read them and then come back and speak about them. So let me find my screen here. The 7 principles of spiritualism. We acknowledge the presence of a loving and universal source, the unity and equality of all creation, the communion with spirits and the guidance of angels, the continuous existence and evolution of all souls, that we are personally responsible for creation of our own reality through thought, word, and deed, that God is expressed through all nature, and that all healing comes from the divine within. And I find as I read each of those sentences, the first feeling I get is agreement. Yes, I believe that. So the 7 principles for me is more of a confirmation of my beliefs than it is a definition of my beliefs. But let's look at that 7 in a somewhat different way. So I am going to change the order. There are 4 statements of the 7 that are directly related to the impression that our church desires to make about God. And the first thing is, we acknowledge the presence of a loving and universal source. Now, this does not define the picture of God. Something that Reverend Rita says during our minister meetings regularly is the God of your understanding. We're not telling you how to picture it. Some people think God is a white-haired man sitting in a throne, throwing lightning bolts at the people that don't behave. Others see God as a female presence. Others see God as not as human, but as an energetic presence. All of those are encased in this concept, the presence of a loving and universal source. We also state that God is expressed through all nature. And as you walk through a forest or you walk on a beach, or you walk down the sidewalk, or whatever, you know that around you there is a natural world, and it's a world full of life. The animal life, the bird life, the plant life, the trees, all the things that occur around you are symbolic of the life force that is on this planet that we are lucky enough to exist in. I'm trying to change my head so my glasses don't glare. See this? So all nature, we see it every day, and oftentimes we overlook it. Oftentimes, you walk along and I know myself, I've gone through a walk through the forest and I've had something concerning on my mind. And as I walk, I'm thinking about what is this situation and how am I going to deal with it? Who said what to who and what should I say back? And I get to the end of my forest walk and I realize I haven't seen anything. I might as well have done it with a blindfold, because the mind is so busy creating stories that I had forgotten to look around and appreciate. So one of the things that I make an extreme point of when I go outside, let's look at nature. Let's absorb at nature. What do I see? And when I step out with that intention of being open to seeing, being open to messages, the messages come. Strange things happen. Birds will do loops in front of me. A fox will run out of the forest, stand and look at me. And there's no one else around. The fox is doing that for me. So of course, my task then becomes first to become aware of it, and secondly to say, what does that mean? Why was fox present today? What messages come from that? As many of you know, I'm very big into the concept of animal spirits and the messages that they bring to us. The principles go on to say the communion with spirits and the guidance of angels. Now, in a sense, this is how we consider God, the God of our understanding, because what we're saying is that there are also more than one. There's more than one entity that is beyond our physical presence, right? If we are communing with spirits, well, that means there's more than one spirit. If we are communing, getting guidance from angels, it means there's more than one angel. So therefore, when we think of God as this wholeness of everything, we also recognize that within that there are components. There are components of spirituality that we can access, that we can talk to, that we can get information from, that we can get help from and assistance from. Some people have their favorite angel, whatever that name may happen to be, Archangel Michael, for example. And in their prayers, they will call to Michael, please, Michael, can you come and help me? Someone else might say the angel Zadkiel or Raphael, or there's an army of angels that we have access to. Another principle is the unity and equality of all creation. What those four statements are saying, the presence of a loving and universal source, that God is expressed through all nature, communion with spirits and the guidance of angels, the unity and equality of all creation. I'm going to summarize those into one statement. There is more. There's more. There's more beyond our physical presence. There's more beyond what we can see and touch and feel and hear, right? There's a life force out there of which we are part of and we participate in, that has an effect on our lives and that we can call on to help us with our lives. There is more. And that more happens to be balanced. In the sum total of everything, if you think of yin and yang, yin is one side, yang is the other, but ultimately in that yin-yang circle, it's balanced, the dark and the light, the hard and the soft, the big and the little. There's always balance. And that's both fulfilling and concerning. It's fulfilling knowing that in the sum total, everything's going to be fine. If it's all balanced, if it's all neutral, if it's all equal, then the waves that happen in the aquarium are still inside the aquarium. Right? And in our life in an aquarium, our life in a bubble that we happen to lead, there's certain elements that will affect us. We'll have a good day, we'll have a bad day, we'll have a happy day, we'll have a sad day. But if you look at the sum total of it all, it balances. So this idea, the God of our understanding, is that there is this force, this life force that we are a part of, and it is all equal and balanced. Simple example. I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. Toronto Maple Leafs were playing the Montreal Canadiens in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the Leafs won a game. And I was excited. I was happy. Yeah, the Leafs won. And then I realized that there is the balance. There's a Montreal fan who is sad. Oh no, my team lost. There's balance. It's almost as if the game was never played. And you'll find that if you look at pretty much everything in life, there's balance. You know, for every angry person, there's a happy person. For every sad person, there's a joyous person. All right, and knowing that there's this constant flow, we now move into the second element of the two groupings that I have created within these 7 principles. And the second element is personal empowerment. And there are 3 statements, 3 principles that directly go to this. That we are personally responsible for creation of our own reality through thoughts, words, and deeds. Where does this put us? Well, it puts us in a position of responsibility. We are personally responsible for our life. Yes, there's lots that goes on. There's things that happen. There's constant change. There's constant shifting going on. But you're the one on the surfboard in the middle. You're the one that steers your path. You're the one that makes a decision. Am I going to be sad about this all day? Or am I going to accept that something happened and move forward? I saw a beautiful presentation this morning, the Spiritualist Church in Burlington. And the man who was presenting saying, you know, in these times of COVID, it's been an adjustment for all of us. But he said the most powerful thing is to accept that things have changed and to make the decision that I'm going to progress anyway. No matter what's going on in your life, there are steps you can take to make progress. It may be as simple as saying, you know what, I'm going to not worry tonight. I'm going to watch a movie. I'm going to have a bottle of wine. I'm going to, do a prayer. I'm going to go to a service, whatever. But we've made that choice of how much energy do I want to put into creating stories in my mind that are difficult to deal with? You know, oh my God, what if I run out of money? Oh my God, what if this happens? What if she gets sick? What if she dies? And you know, there's always these thoughts that come in our mind, but they are just thoughts. So as we begin to recognize that our thoughts have incredible creative power, we have the ability to choose which thoughts, where am I going to put my focus? Where am I going to put my energy? So if I spend my day, if every person that I talk to, I complain about something, well, my experience in life will be nothing's good enough. because in my mind, I'm constantly creating that. Oh my God, it's not good enough. I want more. This sucks. This is horrible. These things happen, you know, etc. Conversely, if we look at the positive elements, gratitude. I'm thankful for who I am. I'm thankful for where I am. I'm thankful for my experiences. Our thoughts are the driving force. Once we have that thought in our mind, we verbalize those thoughts. We tell people what we're thinking. We set things up. Guy at the grocery store says, "How you doing?" And my answer is, "I'm great." And you know what? I was having a good day. I was feeling happy and friendly and so on. Guy behind me, "How you doing?" "Yeah, life sucks." Well, that's what his experience is. That's what he's creating. That's what he's choosing to focus. And that's how he's choosing to define his environment. And when you define your environment with your thoughts and your words, that's what manifests. We take the responsibility of our thoughts, our words, and our deeds, our actions. Once we're talking about something, we then take the steps to manifest that. You know, every one of us can think of an example of someone who has accomplished something that we value, something that we say, "Hey, good for you," you know. But if you think back, there was a point in time where that person was only talking about it. They were only thinking about it. There was a point in time where I was thinking, yeah, it might be interesting to become a reverend. But then my thoughts and my words said, yes, I am going to do this. I am going to sign up. I am going to commit to doing this. And then my actions, my deeds, going to the courses, doing the homework, submitting, you know, doing all the things that were necessary over that period of time to accomplish and manifest. And if you think about virtually everything in your life that you've accomplished, everything began with a thought. Our friend Jessica at one point in time said, you know, I think I'll go back to school. Well, now she is back in school, but there was a whole series of actions that you had to take to get there. And there's another whole series of actions upcoming until you have manifested the graduation from that course. Right? And it's your thoughts, your words, and your deeds that carry you through that. And you decide at any point in time, you can say, you know what, this isn't worth it. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's not fitting my expectations. It's not making me happy. So I'm going to stop doing this. I'm going to do something different. That's still a choice. Deciding not to manifest is just as powerful as deciding to manifest. And no matter what we decide we're going to manifest, every little step counts. It's a journey of 1,000 steps. And if you take another step, you're that much closer. You know, I'm working on a novel right now, and it's a huge undertaking, and it's a historical fiction. So there's all kinds of research and stuff. But every day that I sit down and I put an hour into that, I'm 1 hour closer to completion. And if it's a puzzle with 1,000 pieces and I've only done 20 pieces, well, I got 980 steps to go. Every step I take carries me closer to manifestation. All healing comes from the divine within. This is an acceptance of our personal power. Yes, we can pray to God. Yes, we can ask the angels, oh, please make me better. You know, please do this for me. Please do that for me. But ultimately, we retain our power. The more that we say, I am in control of these steps, then the more power we have, and the more power we are, the more likely we are to manifest, because we believe that we can do it. right? When I go into the kitchen and I'm going to make soup and a sandwich, well, I don't have to believe that I can do it. I just know I can do it. And I go in and I make soup and I make a sandwich and there's my lunch. The steps there are quite simple. But we know that anything that we wish to manifest involves steps. And once we've said, okay, I'm going to identify those steps and take them, we are now empowered to move forward in our manifestation. We have incredible personal power. Back to the principles, the continuous existence and evolution of all souls. This is probably the most empowering statement of all the principles, because it says that you are a soul and you have continuous existence. In our physical bodies and our manifestation at this very moment, we are living beings with a name and a body and everything else. But within that body, within our consciousness, there is a soul that existed before our body and that will exist after our body. In my belief system, there is an afterlife. The consciousness, the element that we've created, continues on in a different manner. So if we take those three statements, the existence and evolution of all souls, we are personally responsible, and all healing comes from within. That's empowerment. And you'll notice that pretty much every time I give a speech, I am working towards empowering people. Find this within yourself. Find your strength. Find your joy. Find your happiness. Make choices that move you towards what you want. And if you don't know what you want, well, then that becomes what you need to manifest. I need to manifest my desire. I have to understand what I want. And that will change over time. What I wanted when I was 30 was different from what I wanted when I was 40. And it's different from what I want now. Our needs and our desires change. That's okay. Again, going back to the surfing example, you think of that ocean with all these waves. You surf them. You maintain your balance and you deal with the next wave. Whatever's coming my way, I'm going to stay on my surfboard and I'm going to steer. I can't control the wave. I can't change it. I can't say I want that wave to go left instead of right. I can't say I want it to be bigger or smaller. I'm not controlling the waves, but I am controlling how I ride them. And knowing that our lives are going to be continuously exposing us to these waves takes us back to our own self-confidence, our own self-esteem. Yes, I have the power to get through this. There's times in our lives we go through a difficult circumstance and think, I don't know how I'm going to I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Losing a loved one, having a major life change, all these things that happen that tend to make us feel weak. And then we realize, well, no, I am strong. I've got my power. Maybe that's changed. Maybe that person is not here physically, but I've certainly got their essence within me. When I think of my father, I grieve that my father is gone, but what I really feel is gratitude that he was there, because I carry so much of what he brought to me. And I'm still my own person. I'm different than my father, but there's so many gifts that he gave me. So when I think about my grief for my father, I also feel that gratitude, that thanks for what he did, for what he brought into my life. And the net result of it all was a positive experience. Again, you see what I just did there is I'm working on me. There's things I can't change, but what I can change is my outlook, my perspective. So in summary, the 7 principles, each of which has its own distinct meaning. If we look at the sum total, there's 2 key groupings: God and personal empowerment. And as I said in my definition of our church, we don't teach people how to think about God. We teach people how to believe in themselves. That is my message for tonight. That is my message always carrying forward. And may your 7 principles come together to help you create the life that you want.
Thank you, Reverend Glenn.